We're now just days away from knowing who Hillary Clinton's running mate will be. Right now, Clinton is holed up behind these gates inside her New York home in Chappaquiddick, New York. She's expected to announce her VP pick sometime by the end of this week as she campaigns in Florida. Here's a look at her short list, but two names are flying high above the rest. You see them there in the 1 and 2 spots. Virginia Senator Tim Kaine and Agriculture Secretary Tom Vilsack. She's expected to make a decision maybe by the end of the week. Of course, we'll keep you posted. Many top conservative donors and businesses are skipping out on the Republican National Convention and refusing to back the nominee Donald Trump. And that includes the wealthy Koch brothers, hedge fund manager Paul Singer, and a number of businesses from Apple to Wells Fargo. They're scaling back their sponsorships. Billionaire donor Foster Friess joins me now to talk about this and more. Welcome, sir.
Well, it's
glad to have you here.
It's an honor to be here, Carol. This is pretty exciting, man. Those speeches last night and Rudy Giuliani's speech, I texted him. I said, Rudy, you have a gift of communications, but now if we can only interject a little enthusiasm into his delivery.
I know. I think that's an understatement.
Yeah,
he was very enthusiastic.
Wonderful man.
Yeah. So let's talk about these big donors sitting on the sidelines. Why are they still unsure about Donald Trump?
Well, I don't think they're unsure about Donald Trump. I think they're unsure about the machinations that could have occurred yesterday on the floor of the convention. And now that's been resolved, I think there's going to be a huge movement. And John Kasich, for example, he's not here, but he's still young. He'll grow out of this. I think you talk about American heroes and John McCain, who went through torture and refusing to be released. Think of what a real American that guy is, because as much as he was abused by Donald Trump, he's still saying he's going to endorse, he's going to support the candidate. Well,
but he's not here. He's not physically here. John Kasich won't physically appear at the convention.
Right. But I think the fact that McCain sets an example for what a true American patriot is. He rides for the brand, and that's what all of us have to do.
See, don't you think, though, Donald Trump needs to say that about John McCain? Wouldn't that repair the damage between the two men?
Well, I think the damage was that the McCain people might stay home. But the damage has been repaired by the fact that John McCain says, look, what's best for America? And a lot of the things that people are upset about Trump is what he said. The things they're upset about Hillary Clinton is what she did. And I think when this campaign comes out and brings out the Clinton Foundation, Charles Krauthammer wrote this unbelievable article. I couldn't believe it, that the money goes into the Canadian Foundation where you don't have to release the donors. It's anonymous. They take the money, according to Charles Krauthammer, send it to Clinton Foundation, and then the Clinton Foundation, I don't know what they did with it. Somehow the Clintons have a $200 million net worth from being broke in '99. But then Hillary Clinton approves, what 20% of our uranium deposits get sold to the Russians because State Department approval?
Yeah, I haven't vetted any of that, so that's what's in his column. That's what he's writing. That's what's put forth publicly. But I think that the Republican base already dislikes Hillary Clinton and thinks she's a criminal. That's pretty clear, right?
Well,
now the party has to move on, though, and unify and coalesce behind this candidate and make sure they get their constituents out there to vote.
You're absolutely
right. And that's the important part. So you have John Kasich not showing up. Senator Ted Cruz is going to speak. He may or may not endorse Donald Trump. Newt Gingrich sort of intimated he might, but we don't know that. How important is a Ted Cruz endorsement for Donald Trump tonight?
Well, I think, Carol, what's more important is all the people Donald Trump is bringing to the party. Plumbers, electricians, welders, farmers. The Republican Party is going back to what it originally should be, looking out for the little guy. I grew up in a little town of 5,000 people, came out of the army with $800 of cumulative leave pay, so I've been an underdog most of my life, and I love that underdog spirit.
But see, you're describing John Kasich, for example. He's an underdog himself, and those things should attract him to Donald Trump, but he's not attracted to Donald Trump.
Well, I don't think it's so much a lot of these people, Cuccinelli, Mike Lee, someone told me that they have a different agenda. They are more interested in trying to get a conservative, i.e. Ted Cruz, in future years. So the way they think they have to position themselves is by getting these rule changes so the Republican Party has to have only closed primaries. Now
So is that part of John Kasich's strategy? Not exactly that, but if he's going to run for president, he can't really put...
Well, if John Kasich wants to run for president, there's no way that can possibly happen in my book when he's alienated. I was visiting with Ohio residents. They're embarrassed. his constituency is embarrassed. I mean, this is his home state. And why isn't he riding for the brand? Not the Trump brand, not the Republican, but the American brand. America's future is at stake in this election. We gotta make it happen.
Foster Free, is always a pleasure to have you here.
Carol, I'm just so thrilled to be here. Thank you so much. God bless you.
God bless you back. Thank you so much for being here.